Okay, so hi everyone. Thank you for joining in your busy schedule. I'm
Wait, are
using
you sharing a video right now?
uh so this is just a beyond
Okay, not
reality.
yet. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm
Yes.
gonna start.
Yes.
So I'm You-Jin Kim, assistant professor at Texas A&M, and I also serve as director of Dynamic Reality Lab here at Texas A&M, and I'll be presenting my talk Beyond Reality, crafting the future of human interaction in augmented reality. And today talks will be divided into 5 quick sessions covering my journey, as you can see here. And funny enough, my first project here that I will be sharing is Atlas. So I hope you can hear me with the sound. With my background in game development, I was drawn to making application for augmented reality headset when it was announced. And Atlas was part of Magic Leap's independent creator program where Magic Leap support the project for 6 months. So the beauty of this application is that it let user transform into aquarium and submarine that is very familiar place like your bedroom or living room. Some of the ocean elements overflow beautifully to the user's room. That is kind of our selling point at the time in 2018 when we first started working on this. And here's the user experience flowchart we developed for our project. We empathize that the experience can be enjoyed either explore mode or relax mode, giving the flexibility to choose their preferred style of engagement in our application. So what we wanted was kind of a relaxed, more hybrid game experience. And after 6 months, it was adopted as a featured application by Magic Leap Studio called Undersea. I'm sure some of you guys have played it. And moving on, World Tracer is an application I made to run natively in server, generating 3D floor layout from LiDAR sensor used by floor robot Omron. Multiple types of Omrons are deployed in the factory at any given time. For the fundamental locomotion capability and avoiding running into each other, we made this kind of a live SLAM data map, which is updated constantly to make sure that all the Omron knows the change that's happening in their factory floor. And as you can see, the maps get automatically updated to an OBJ file, and you see here. And the beauty is that with this map, we can see the different behavior parameter will be assigned. Depends on the capability of each Omron robot. So these red spots are the spots where it would most likely some kind of collision could occur. So they slow down by a little bit. So yeah. So it was a very early work, but here are the 2-minute video that I want to share. So this was a collaboration with the Bell Lab. Now, I would like to move on with how we were able to utilize rapid 3D modeling tool we developed could be utilized to simulate and analyze the operation productivities. In addition to the 3D modeling tool, we added Snap-to-Grid factory layout builder for fine adjustment, which can help out with our robot locomotion simulation training, as Omnon robot currently deployed in the factory floor has the ability to scan layers of altitude surrounding it. Available object that can be placed shows up in graphic suite, which can be found from various world builder games such as SimCity. Now that we know we can accurately generate delicate layout, I would like to present how this model was used in our reinforcement training. This is an Omron robot model, which will operate as agent for our simulation demo. It emits 12 rays throughout 360 degrees in 2 altitude layers, which makes a total of 24 rays per robot. This reflects the capacity of Omron as it utilizes radar sensor for its navigation. Our simulation may not receive as high definition feedback as the real robot, but for our pilot study, this is very much acceptable. This is training in session, currently learning how to respond around other runs while trying to get to the destination spot. You're right, this is not entire training. Agent only learn how to navigate around other robots in a timely manner, but that does not include safety precautions or location-specific response. We utilize parallel computing platform CUDA cores to train 200,000 sessions for each behavior model, training multiple sessions at once. Extracting neural network model was applied to our agent before introducing more complexity. This is where our rapid 3D modeling tool comes into play. The operator can sample out the area where the intensive training is required, as these environments may present multiple access points, tighter hallway, and interaction with other types of robots. Agent's decision behavior script was inherited from the ROS behavior parameter, where multiple neural network models can be combined and adjusted afterward. The ability to train specific layout with such ease is powerful. If the operator happens to notice an area where robots slow down to avoid collision, it can be trained in that particular layout to better understand and react optimally. We hope these features we implemented in the factory simulation can present a better understanding of the factory. Now, I would like to. Okay, so that was my project with Bell Labs, and with this two project, I actually learned a lot. It was in 2020, and the second time I did research intern with them was at 22. But I learned about wide area like simulation. So that's why I started out doing a lot of a wide area AR project. And also from this time, I start to have a lot more AI agent type of like a behavior training model interest, which you will see in the later presentation. So Santa Barbara Virtual Campus Project is an effort to generate digital 3D model, also known as digital twin of UCSB campus for research and game simulation. Here is an open source digital twin project I started, which is growing by day. Thanks to contribution from other students, I also gives workshop in generating these high efficient, very well compressed digital twin, where we have a Texas A&M digital twin project as well. So every campus that I immediately start this project where student can kind of use for their project. And the experiment we designed with my colleague was conducted outdoor on the UC Santa Barbara campus in an area approximately size of 3 basketball court. Participants were allowed to walk anywhere in the space, but discouraged from walking on green grassy area. So it's quite large actually. So just scanning this with LiDAR took some days. Okay, here we see all physical objects that we brought to environment, precisely align them with the word anchoring and tracking of the headset. Look carefully here, as we bring the virtual object we added to complete the scene. In this environment, we conducted 56 human subject user study to find user cognitive load searching gem while completing your task where user must respond every time when you assign keyword is called. Okay, let's see the video. Here you see me searching for gem in Kirby Crossing, which is the name of the area. Here you see software that shows user experience using digital twin. And the beauty is that these virtual gem can be occluded by these physical objects. And this is our playback software. And I'll show you a little bit more of the playback software we have a little later. But the real nice thing about these playback software is that you can see what the user is gazing at. So we are doing the eye tracking, all the body tracking. So when you do playback in digital twin, you can kind of exactly tell what user was thinking when they met that behavior. So moving on to Gem can be hidden. Okay, so as AR glass utilize wave guidance display on transparent glass to protect object to your eyes, meaning it has a shine brighter than the physical space you are looking at. So that's the kind of a limitation of what the AR glass is today, which means that it has to be brighter than what you see in physical world. So to examine these phenomena and fatigue and memory recall between physical and virtual object, we presented this work at IEEE TVCG, and this is a little bit of what I was talking about.
Self-supervised or unsupervised learning, then they can train this on the entire Wikipedia. Then the model can learn a lot of things without having to label it, right? But it's going to be hard for, say, computer vision or other tasks.
Show like this, and maybe show like what's going on here.
This data came from mathematical equations that physicists already worked out.
This is
So we know how do we extract these training data from the beginning. But if we want someone to label these data, it's going to be hard. It's pretty much random.
I'm sure you get the idea. But all this project is great and all, but I am naturally more of a storyteller myself. So with my student, we conducted the AR climate change simulation. Participants were presented with flooded campus experience and campus on fire. And pre and post survey shows user group who experienced the simulation through HoloLens 2 show greater concern and change of their positionality of climate change topic in comparison to participant group who experienced the simulation through VR headset or monitor screen. So witnessing this event unfold at life size really have a quite powerful storytelling tool. So thus moving on to spatial interactivity projects. So both works demonstrate the potential of the interaction in AR setting, expanding the possibility of human interaction and expression in this space. And these are kind of important because I often take these projects to my more narrative-driven research. So starting from the Reality Distortion Room illustrates how AR stage deformation can induce the user movement in predictable ways, effectively influencing the user through the AR environment. So what that means is that because in VR setting, you could do redirected walking to kind of get the space you need. So you can kind of get the space, but in AR setting, when you get to the end of the hallway, that's kind of it. So I was wondering how we can kind of uh, you know, get over that physical limitation. So more and more game utilize the room layout to play virtually extended space. I'm sure you guys have played Meta's new like the monster game where like you have to protect from them coming into your room space. So I want to explore a system where we can move user without instructing them and only use visual cue in the case of spatial distortion of the space. So without telling you what to do. Imagine you have to move in the game 2 steps to the right. So 2 steps to the right to you, but you're right next to the wall. And for the next interactive story to happen, that's where your NPC was supposed to be generated. But you don't have that 1 meter that you need for that monster to come in. So what we do is that we use this distortion effect. Here you see user interacting freely in our system. As no clear objective or task was given, participants generally assumed that we wanted feedback on space we designed or testing out the new AR system. Only instruction we gave actually was to refrain from sitting down on any surfaces. So it's a 360 spatial augmented reality. And as you can see, we actually do project to furnitures and the floor space as well. To quantify the effect of each distortion treatment, we measure induced user locomotion, which we categorize into two different types, directional effect and central effect. We define directional effect as the user movement along the designated axis. So it's like whatever axis you want them to move. And we define the central effect as the change in the user's distance to the center of the room. We design our distortion treatment to maximize these effects. As you can see here, elongation, warp, and shift treatment were designed to induce directional effect, while elevation and enlarge treatment were designed to induce central effect. I mean, obviously we had significantly more. We tried 20 effect before we got to these 5. There was like a spinning, twisting, and all that. Too much movement gave people some sickness in the room, so we kind of refrained from using those. On the left, we see the elongation treatment, and on the right is the user's view on the same treatment. The following clips show playback visualization of all 20 participant locomotion in the room from the respective treatment. What that means is that it should be noted that each user trajectory was gathered separately, one user at a time in the room. The timing is synchronized with respect to the effect to display the user overall movement response pattern. So here, if you see carefully, we can see that people are utilizing more space on the right when the wall is expanding, and we believe the elongation movement pattern is caused by participants being curious and being close to the extended area, but being pushed back when elongated wall return back to line up with the actual wall. So another example that I want to show is the same. So we gather this point data from separately, and it's synchronized to the effect. And we believe this movement pattern is caused by user exploring the perceivably enlarged space and then subsequently the contracted space. So even though your space is actually not getting larger, because in their FOV it looks larger, so they actually utilize significantly more space. So results show that participants' natural locomotion can be influenced by augmented distortion treatment to significantly induce directional movement, in this case, right or left. The shift treatment showed the largest directional effect in our user study. So, in average, if you can get like 90 centimeter or 75 centimeter in warp distortion, it's quite usable because that's like the space that you just need before you collide to something, or maybe there was like a virtual avatar that was supposed to be showing there. So we can kind of push them away. We can also validate that user position relative to the center of the room can be manipulated with AR distortion as shown in this figure. The enlarged treatment show the larger central dispersion and gathering effect in our user study. Overall, the Reality Distortion Room was successful in inducing user natural movement in predictable ways. We believe our distortion effect could be used to induce distance between physical object and the user when needed. And obviously, not to mention, because it's not voice or text specific, it can be applied to pretty much all region, because it's just understanding about spatial awareness and how you utilize the space. Okay, shifting a little bit more to the artistic side, I do a lot of engineering, but also my passion lies in a lot of like a music making and things like that. So um present Spatial Orchestra, transform your space into musical instruments with our AR application showcase at ACM Kai 2024 in Hawaii. By interacting with AR bubbles, you can create music by walking into color-coded bubble, each triggering unique sound and note. Moving on. Okay, so this is a 3-minute video. Please
Instruments
take a
using
look.
basic input like natural locomotion. Unlike many musical instruments, our work allows individuals of all skill levels to effortlessly create music by walking into virtual bubbles. Our augmented reality experience involves interacting with ever-shifting sound bubbles that the user engages with by stepping into color-coded bubbles within the assigned area using a standalone AR headset. In a world where not everyone has had the opportunity to acquire the skill of playing a musical instrument, the art of musical expression remains elusive, akin to a second nature for a select few. Those who possess this ability often find themselves in awe of those who can skillfully wield musical instruments to convey their emotions. This universal yearning for musical expression resonates with many individuals. The advance of XR technology has revolutionized the way we interact with our surroundings, seamlessly blending the digital and real worlds. The Spatial Orchestra project was also made possible by a branch of research that focuses on investigating the use of spatial audio in mixed reality and ways for encouraging cooperation and communication via musical performance. Within the defined area, color-coded bubbles, each emitting a distinct cello note, float at the user's head level. User can freely move around the playspace, engaging with these bubbles to compose music by entering them. As each bubble emits specific cello notes, users are encouraged to navigate to areas where multiple bubbles are present, as user can create harmonies of mixed cello notes. Spatial Orchestra offers musical experience where walking becomes the primary means of playing the instrument, allowing users to instantly create music within the given space. This interactive element enables users to explore the intersection of spatial awareness, musical rhythm that extends to bodily expression through playful movements and dance-like gestures within the bubble-filled environment. We collaborated with musicians to fine-tune the area's size, the bubble's dimensions, and the quantity of bubbles to provide the best possible music-making experience through bubble interaction. The intention was to establish a setting that was conducive to artistic music composition without being so disruptive as to make the user feel cluttered. We shared our work, Spatial Orchestra, a spatial musical instrument that harnesses natural locomotion for a unique musical experience. This instrument not only immerses users in the music, but also turns their physical movements into expressions of creativity. We invite you to try it out for yourself and immerse in the joy of playing music while interacting with bubbles. Thank you for watching, and we hope you can try it for yourself at Kai 2024. Cool instruments.
Have fun.
Oh, he's muted.
You're mute.
You muted.
Oh, sorry, sorry.
Yeah.
So one thing that we learn when making this application is that as someone who used to make games for quite a time, we had to think about how people actually engage in these AR space, which means that they like to put their heads in, but once your head is inside of the bubble, actually it doesn't render. So we had to make sure all side was rendering, and we had uh, so making accessibility much more complicated because it depends on the height. The bubble naturally does change, but how they like to interact, meaning like jump, dodge, things like that needs to be considered. So placement of the bubble actually was quite a research, but you can check that out in our paper. And this is talking about the double-sided shader that we had to make sure all object that you see there was double-sided shader. So we had to reduce the alpha channel by 50%, and then it has both sides, so it looks normal, and yeah, things like that. Okay, so now these are kind of my my main works I consider, and Here I share my project, Dynamic Theater and Audience Amplify, which represent my vision of the future of spatial content and virtual production. And Dynamic Theater investigates the application of augmented reality in immersive theater as a venue for digital dance performances. The freedom to position digital object anywhere present numerous opportunities and challenges. It has become evident that curating the user experience while taking into account the physical layout and anticipate users' movement is critical in making AR open world experience. So in order to properly utilize the full potential of the physical space and highlight the dancer's movement, we worked closely with dancers and choreographer in creation of our AR play. In our study, we use the standalone AR headset HoloLens 2 to give the spectator the opportunity to freely wander around the environment as play develops. Here is the environment where we conducted the study. It's about 300 square meter in size, and left figure is a digital twin model that was utilized to develop virtual stage as well as the occlusion layer used to properly occlude projected dancers behind the walls. And it was really nice to have a digital twin already loaded on the headset because it's not constantly scanning. So it has full stage per se. So it actually reduces the amount of work that headset needs to do. And we developed three distinct virtual stage, future, forest, and fantasy, that overlays the physical space, each housing three dance performance. And our aim is to create new environment, providing refreshing experience for the user in the same space as I repeat, the strength is the space, but we are also limited by the space. So in order to develop dynamic theater, we collaborated with professional dancers to capture dance performance, specifically tailored to complement floor work dance move in the virtual environment. And here is the 3-meter wide, 15-meter long green screen setup we set up. And we used the 2 DSLR and 5 depth camera to capture volumetric dancer playback data. And we deployed 3 navigation aids, helping user navigate in open space. Floating particle shows where walked by slowly floating to the designated area, serving as a directional indicator. Meanwhile, floating arrow simply points to the next area, only shows up when you look down. That's more direct. And spatial spiral shows up in the middle of the stage following 3 dance performance.
Could you stop for a second? Yeah. We have a display malfunction.
And I have no idea what happened.
Yeah, there
There
is.
was a 5-minute ticker at the bottom.
I stopped the ticker, but I don't know.
Maybe
what
move
happened.
your mouse,
But it's connected, so how can it?
yeah, now it just flashed.
I hit the on button.
Okay, try again. So it's coming back.
Maybe it'll come back.
Meanwhile.
Oh, okay, it's back.
Well, we.
Okay.
As soon as you come in.
Thank you guys.
I stopped the warning, but I didn't understand the warning. Okay, good.
Okay.
All right, You-Jin, sorry, we're back.
It's actually fitting because a spiral is actually kind of used as a intermission to change the stage. So you're going to, because unlike theater, there's no curtain that comes out and then kind of stops the play and change the stage. So we use the spiral. So you go into the spiral, then everything becomes dark and then brings up the new stage kind of thing. And we implemented what we call location-based trigger, LBT, and so that we can precisely present the dancer to the viewer's position. And location-based triggers are placed near the content zone where the user will naturally walk into. This is where the artist and curator's point of view comes in. Here we consider floor layout and users' movement prediction and many more aspects. Location anchoring systems such as Azure Spatial Anchor made it possible to place the trigger and navigation aid accurately every time, meaning you don't have to set up anything because these anchors are in server. The moment you turn on the headset, it would connect and locate itself correctly. So a user study involving 20 participants was conducted to evaluate dynamic theater. Shown here is a diagram of user experience and general paths that user followed. In the initial stage, the user followed the particles, discovering digital dance performance en route. After viewing all performances, a spiral appears to help user transitioning to the next stage. Stage transition proceed when user walk into the spiral, as we talked about. This process repeat in the second stage, but this time user follow the arrow. In the final stage, no navigation aid was included. Here, user have the freedom to explore the environment. And the following video shows the footage directly captured from the HoloLens 2 in user's perspective. So please note that the MR capture software running on top of the application had an impact on tracking and dance playback. So real-world experience is noticeably more smoother than this. And it's 2 minutes. Okay. So one thing that I would like to highlight is that regarding the navigation system, both particle and arrow have unique advantage. Though the arrow seems slightly more effective for guidance, the particle were deemed more visually pleasing while being more enjoyable. Our finding highlights the necessity of incorporating some form of guidance system to aid user in open world experience. And I would like to thank my students and collaborator and Christina for allowing this project to flourish. And these are the artists that I worked with in this research. And moving on, my last project I'll be presenting here is Audience Amplify is a proof of concept augmented reality theater system that allow users to walk and see performance in each area of the AR stage. This project demonstrates how AI trained virtual audiences can create social experiment, allowing users to experience the atmosphere of live event at any time. So, recent research have demonstrated how virtual audience NPC can influence or enhance users' experience and evoke the sentiment of live concert, as you can see here. And my vision for Audience Amplify was to verify if adding virtual audience can enhance the user experience in AR theater by creating more social and personalized environment similar to live event. And how do such a training agent compare to state-of-the-art NPC model, EA's 3D humanoids? Can AI agent learn location-specific behaviors? I investigate these questions and present my finding here today. Again, the same location used. And okay, so let me play this real quick. So here we zoom into one of the training environment, highlight how AI can learn from both physical layout and tracking of user activity using imitation learning type of a reinforcement learning pipeline. The reward system was refined to encourage behavior aligned with watching performance and walking. Detail of the parameter are presented in the paper. It's a lot. So, but excuse me. So I guess I didn't include it in this presentation, but basically we collected from our previous study at Dynamic Theater about 373 hours of a user using our application. And the one that you see right now is actually just a simple playback of tracking data. And from these, we created this DNN NPC audience where it behaves very much like what it needs to in the space that is being performed. So while there are several differences between NPC and DNN virtual audiences, one notable observation was that NPC appear much more intentional in their action. Conversely, the DNN audience exhibited more wandering behavior, making them appear more independent and distinctively more spread out during the performance viewing session. While it's difficult to quantify this result, as close observer, what sets DNN model apart from NPC audience are that they position themselves in a way that mirrors human crowds. They move sensibly in the space and incorporates human-like imperfection, such as small, non-essential motions that we kind of find from the human. And in our pilot study, we evaluated the effectiveness of 3 virtual audiences type: sound and audience only, NPC audience, and DNN audience. Results show that presence of virtual audience was preferred, and DNN turned out to be the people's favorite because of the experience resemble a live event. So we use these 2 conditions for a main study. So even though it was a pilot study 1-2 and main study, it involved 12 participants on first and second, and then so second each, and then main study we evaluated with 24 participants. And to evaluate user experience, we conducted post-trial inquiries consistent of 38 self-reported questions. We used the guest question, immersive virtual environment question, IRE question, and GEQ to measure 32 components And please refer our paper for the result. And here's a 1-minute video.
That's what she said, but it's got like stone.
Yeah, it's like really
The eyes.
looks like two.
I don't think it's legs or
Oh, excuse me. I was not supposed to do that.
We forgive you.
Okay, so I'm gonna wrap up my talk. So, as you can see, it's not perfect. Oftentimes they're not actually looking at the audience. There's a little bit of a directional mismatch, but I can admit that here. And then overall, Audience Amplify demonstrated that using imitation learning and utilizing digital twin to train AI agent can be replicated human interaction behavior for specifically specified physical space, meaning like a targeted space. And also players' height came into a lot of factor. We have not imagined that would be the case, but level of immersion, presence, and enjoyment level were all quite different. And shorter user tend to enjoy significantly more oftentimes. So my question was, maybe it has something to do with scale. If things are like bigger than you, maybe it is like kind of magical to see. That's just like my speculation, but in the paper, we shared the design recommendation, so please check it out. But what is so exciting about this project is that, people often say, I went to once in a lifetime concert and things like that. But with method of audience amplified, you can actually capture the behavior of that audience that existed in maybe like 1980s where ABBA used to play, and then you can actually replay it. And we're actually capturing the historical moment, not just the architecture, but people's behavior if we have the enough data to train how the audience reacted. So I know the time is coming up. So here I outline my vision. I invite to focus on the interactive narrative where users expand their imagination through interaction and extend their reality. And human and engineering basically forms a physical interaction which extends the environment. So, what I think the physical interaction really is connected is our experimental approach between creativity and engineering. So, to self-promote a little bit, if you are ever around Texas, please come visit. We are located right next to the aerospace building, 75 minutes from Houston, 105 minutes from Austin. And if you see this A&M website first page, you can see our lab actually right here in the corner. And I would like to thank my students, and they are in the lab and working hard as we speak. And these are the lab space. And this is our friend lab, HCIED, directed by You-Jin Kim, where we do most of our fabrication. And something exciting AI agent is being made, and you will see very soon. Team and collaboration is growing by day, as you can see. Thank you so much for listening.
Quick question, going back to your distortion of the environment, did you do anything with not just visual, but sound in a direction or haptics or anything like that to?
We had a sound. We actually had a sound. You're talking about the source of the very famous NASA study of like the turning the sound to like amplify the effect. We had that initially, but we couldn't tell what was doing what. Like we didn't know, so we had to take out everything, meaning no haptic, no vibration, no nothing, and just visual alone, because that was kind of our goal. And also my internship at Microsoft was running out, meaning like I had like so we had to just do just visual. But,
Okay, I have a question. So I understand you're seeing the virtual dancer, and so when we have physical person dancing, we know we keep a distance. But when it's virtual, I feel like I will be giving a license. I want to go in or play with them because they are virtual. I'm not going to affect them. So did any of your participants actually try to break out, be in the audience and want to go in?
few we had like a few, and there was a mechanism for that. Then the butterflies like fly in and kind of try to block your vision, so you have to kind of like move back, because
That's like
actually if you
Yeah.
come too close, the definition, the resolution is not high enough, and that kind of breaks the immersion. So we had to have some mechanism to make sure that, so.
But I saw a number of really interesting effects and techniques that you've applied. Help me understand, what's the larger vision? Why are you doing this? Where do you want to go with it? In 10 years, if you're successful, how will the world be transformed? Right? It's
So,
like you did this cool thing and this cool thing and this cool thing. And I want it to be able to tell a story about what's this all about.
I mean, so obviously as a new professor, I am applying for like more technical grants, but I do also apply to a lot of like artistic grant. The reason being, I want to make more larger theater production, virtual production one day with like a more renowned choreographer. By the way, dynamic theater, I did not know how expensive the composer were and dancers were. The session just like piles up. So it really, you need some grant to do it, I realize. So why I explore this segment of interaction is that I want to kind of combine all this together and make a bigger full theater experience. Because this theater that I made, uh, it's only 12 minutes. It's only 12 minutes, and it took me like probably 5 months to make it. And I always wish I had a bigger like a team to do this. So hopefully we get there. Does that answer your question?
Kind of. I mean, I'm guessing that you're trying to invent the theater of the future.
In a sense, but also I don't like to claim that, because I want like my choreographer to be able to say that it's her work. Like I'm helping her, I'm assisting her technically, but I want these dancers and composer to really, I want them, you know, as much as it is mine, it's theirs. So I want to see where it goes. So if that, yeah.
How do the dancers describe the differences between dancing in the augmented reality world and not?
So we had a 15-meter green screen, and when they're running, they're like, oh wow, we have so much space. But in AR, the things appear so much shorter. And I think it has something to do with like in a field like a projected field of view, you see things significantly larger. So it just has to be slightly more grandeur scale in order for us to capture the dancers' movement. Because dancers, after seeing them in AR headset, they were like, "Oh man, we wish like we had like 30-meter instead of 50-meter," and it takes like literally like 3 meter for them to get to that speed. So like a lot of physical limitation, I realized. I thought I was giving them all the everything they need. That's what I thought, but apparently not. So yeah.
And how did contact work? Because in one image you had contact between dancers, but it didn't look like in the videos that you showed that there was contact.
Can you repeat the question, please? I'm
How
sorry.
did contact between dancers work? Because
Like,
the video didn't show contact, but the still image showed contact between dancers.
so are you talking about the projected dancers?
Dancers touching each other.
Ah, so I understood your question. So there were a few sessions, like individual sessions that's going to come together mainly because of the space constraints. So if they're running from the different direction, we really wanted to utilize that 15-meter, making it like 30-meter movement. But when they're like actually like doing you know, uh, you know, dance together, then we had to actually kind of make a separate scene that would connect to that, meaning like something would happen to distract people, like butterfly or something needs to happen. We utilize the firework a lot. A lot of people tend to look up when the fireworks happen, and then they kind of forget the dancer for a bit. So that's when we changed the dancer.
Can you talk a little bit about the audience amplification and what kind of findings
So
you guys stumbled upon with the amplification of audience? And I noticed that you had some audio, recorded audio, and overlaid it in the audience amplification. I'm just kind of curious for some more information about
okay,
how those
so
studies went and what the findings
so
were.
you really have to read the paper, but I can tell you as much as I can here, which is that
Okay.
we use the 373 hours of the previous dancer's position, meaning their head position, their joint, and movement. And that's what they're learning from. And as we have clearly mentioned in the paper, the voice is not an AI. That's just a collection, random collection from the previous session that is replaying. And the only AI component is their movement, the head movement, their and the most important part is actually um, distribution of reward system, meaning you would definitely have a content zone, right? When the dancer comes up, the AI have to register that, oh, something is happening in this direction. And anytime the AI agent notice them, we give a point. And anytime they are not blocking the user's perspective, we give a quarter of the point. And so it's really like try and error of what makes these AI agent training really important to our experience, meaning I don't want people to be running around when I'm looking at a theater with other people. I don't want people to block my direct vision. And there are a few more, but such as like we didn't want the AI agents to be too close to the wall, like leaning, because sometimes they lean. And we didn't want it, but once we gave that the concept to that AI agent, all it was trying to do is trying to avoid the wall. So it was just like jittering, making sure it's not touching the wall. So it's really the sculpting the behavior that you want from the baseline behavior that you have. So then what happens is that your parameter gets larger and larger because you keep adding a feature, type of experience, behavior that you want this agents to behave. But then at one point it becomes like nothing. So then you have to step back and then accept the shortcoming of these AI agents parameter, and then accept what they are for who they are. Just kind of like human, because like humans are not the best audience in my opinion. And no, like including myself, but that goes same for the agents as well. So
Interesting. Excited to read that.
Just a quick mundane question. The acronyms NPC and DNN, what are those?
Deep neural,
Sure. And what's the DNN?
deep neural network.
Neural
Deep
network.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Okay, that's fine.